pick a fight you can't win.
My genius will be understood eventually.
I'm absolutely livid.
They fear me. Fallen is a war alternative.
I must not fall.
All right, I'm going.
Not a problem.
Hilliard Esports JV squad is doing another game in our quarantine tournament, and we're excited to be casting for you with the help again of Egg and Toast, Caleb Crowley, a Derby grad. I am Mrs. Sturman, aka Maestro Pants, and I'm one of the esports coaches and advisors, and I am here with my husband, Peter Sturman Wilson, aka Arya Deva.
And I am the strategic coach for the team. So got a interesting game here. It's going to be a pretty intense one, I think, because of the picks that they have so far. So we'll see how it goes. Some really non-traditional stuff going on in the bottom lane. So we'll see how they play around that.
We are on a delay, waiting for a spectator delay. So that way it just protects the integrity of the match. So that way we don't obviously see what's going on exactly when it's happening. And so you'll pay attention, especially what Peter was saying, that Morgana versus Vigar is really interesting and unique. Our JV team are on some of their comfort picks, which is really nice to see. We got the Braum on awesome 10-0-57, and we got the Ari on Phoenix, our mid laner, Sejuani on Bubble Puppy, our jungler, and Alawi on Nick the Awesome, top lane. And then we have our Abject is on Lucian, and he's the captain of our JV team. This is a stream that's coming at you because our original season obviously was cut short with everything going on, and the awesome people at Esports Ohio put together this quarantine tournament. And I think this other team is from Wisconsin, so that'll be kind of fun for us. I actually lived in Wisconsin for 5 years growing up.
Fantastic.
Yep.
And the other thing we're going to try and do at some point, just for you people who might be new to League of Legends in general, we're either going to try and find a video to reference or make a video ourselves that we'll post on the YouTube channel so you can know how to follow along. I know it's a pretty overwhelming game when you're new to it. So for the game today, we're just going to try and keep it focused on that gameplay, keep it focused on what's going on in the game, and for the generic stuff that'll help you understand it better, we should have something out for you soon.
Mm-hmm.
All right, looks like we're going to start loading in here.
Very cool background from Egg and Toast. Intense and interesting.
Very
Fire.
celestial, very fiery.
Vortex.
I like it. All right, so we have to think about how this game is going to go in the early into the mid game, because if that bot lane does get ahead, it's going to be very, very dangerous. So we're definitely going to want to keep our eyes on that matchup. So the top lane matchup isn't going to be too volatile. The Alawi can definitely trade pretty heavily into that Scion if she's able to land her E and get that spirit pulled out. So we'll see how that gets played around in the lane. But Scion with this can also be pretty darn scary. So we are loading into game here, and we'll also want to keep an eye on that Kayn in the jungle, who just got buffed this last patch and is definitely very strong right now. So definitely have to play around that for our junior varsity to take away this win.
Giving a little shout out to our cat Nala, who is helping us cast this game. So
you might hear her meowing out some shoutcasting in the background at some point.
Yep. And here you'll see the blue side. That's our Wisconsin folk are loading in. Our Hilliard is on the red side.
We will be completely unbiasedly hoping that Hilliard wins this game.
Totally unbiased. Go Cybercats. All right, and right now they're just setting up jungle, some opening, watching the jungle entrances, maybe throwing down some vision you just saw from Sedge.
Yep, we have a pretty standard 5-point opening here. No invades going on as of yet. Scion just guarding the entrance. Doesn't look like he's going to lay a ward down. We have some pings coming down to check those areas where they might be coming. Good on the teams. So definitely the game starts at level 1. So it's something that you want to keep an eye on early on. And let's see here. They are just posturing around and looking for those minions to spawn so they can leash these jungle creeps and get the game started. So as we are getting into this laning phase, we also want to talk about how volatile that mid lane matchup can be, because the Syndra is very scary. Both the mid laners have that ignite. They're going for the kills for sure, but Syndra is one of the strongest mid laners right now, has a lot of range, and is very, very scary. She can lay down those Qs, she can throw her W for the slow, get the E stun, and once she has her ultimate, can pretty much one-shot. So Ari also has that capability. It's just a little bit trickier to set up, so we'll see how Phoenix is able to play around that. And pretty standard starts here for the junglers. We have Sejuani going from the blue over to the wolves. Probably will head over to the red after that. Might do the Raptors along the way. Got Kane, who is one of the few junglers who's able to start those Raptors and moving to the red now. So. Alright, so looking at this bottom lane, they are just getting into a little bit of trading, a little bit of posturing around that level 2 advantage. That is one of the most important things in the bottom lane. Who can hit that level 2 first? There it is. Can they try and capitalize on it? Just playing it safe for now. Totally fine into the CC that they have on the other team, so...
And this Vigar Morgana is a very, very interesting, somewhat unusual pick. They have to be careful of that Vigar when he throws down the cage and then dodging around the Morgana Q binding. It's something they're going to have to be very, very careful about. Meanwhile, back at mid, and they're just
Yep, so there was that
CSing.
stun combo that we were talking about with the Syndra. She was definitely taking the better of that trade. That's something that Phoenix will need to be conscious about now, because he is getting in the range where a full combo plus that ignite could put him in danger. So dancing back and forth around these minions, trying not to get hit at the same time as the minions, is pretty much all he can do for now. We got Bubble Puppy heading over to the Scuttle Crab right now, maybe looking for a gank mid on his way, but it is warded.
Yep, caught up by that blue ward, and that's the importance of vision. So there's this fog of war that's around, and you can put down wards and things like that that play vision, so that way you can see people are. Oh, we got a little do-si-do around the scuttle, but there's a roam, and Bubble Puppy's in trouble, and Bubble Puppy goes down for first blood. So he may have gotten the scuttle, but it cost him his life.
And that is something very important to keep in mind when you are the jungler in the early game. So those scuttles are the most experience in gold you're going to get off of those camps, so they do get fought over quite a bit. So you want to make sure that your lane has priority if you're the one going for it. That's what happened right there. We couldn't get the follow from Phoenix quickly enough, and then they got the 2v1 against him. So he's going to be heading back down to that other scuttle to see if Kane's already there, which he is on it. So we'll see what happens now.
And it's a little bit of a repeat. This time Kane, yes, is there first. There's just dancing around it. And Bubble Puppy says, you know, I'm not sure if I want this. Oh, maybe I do. Again, just playing around. Both teams seem to be playing very cautiously. There was that good collapse mid, but they don't want to, you know, give too much of an advantage to the other team at this point. So
and this is the type of thing where with the advantage that bot lane had, they definitely could have run up. But Bubble Puppy, seeing the bot lane still in bottom, feels confident enough to go and smite again. So regardless of getting first blood up there, he did have clutch smites to get both of those Scuttle Crabs.
Very nice, very nice.
Feeling pretty happy about that.
Bot lane seems pushed in under turret.
Yeah, this is the type of lane that's probably just going to push you in over and over again. With Morgana's W, she can just, at level 5, start Wing the backline, and they just all get killed instantly. So it's very, very hard for them to be able to contest that at all. And looks like we had a death up in that top lane as well. Both flashes burnt, and that is a great lead that we have. Oh, wait, we have.
And we got a possible gank. Oh, they're backing off. That spell shield from Morgana is just absolutely clutch. And so, you know, Bubble Puppy said, I'm not gonna go for this. He was spotted out on the ward. So the bot lane was able to posture in a safe way and dissuade that gank. You can see, and our Abject is chunked out pretty well, but Braum has most of his health as they do this little dance of triangles down bot, trying to get CS and posture to gain control of the lane.
Yep, so we'll have to see how that top lane goes after that first kill. Definitely when Alawi gets ahead, that is a matchup that she can just snowball pretty darn hard, so...
I'll allow it.
It'll be hard for the Scion to play around. He is maybe getting some cold feet from that snowball up there, and we'll see what happens. And so as the junglers are moving now, we see that Drake is what Kane is posturing around. That's the first objective that's up on the map. So got some vision down, making sure that they're not trying to sneak that while he's not looking. And oh, we got the soul out. That's good. And Alawi is level 6 here. So
Oh
Sion
wow,
really
yeah,
can't trade
Sion
into
needs to
this.
be careful. He's not 6, and so Alawi has full control over that trade. You'll see Sion walking off, licking his wounds a little bit while still trying to get that CS. And Nick the Awesome is doing a really nice job maintaining control up top. And oh, you'll see it again, has the soul, and that, I mean, that is a
The kind of thing you
dangerous
just
chunk.
can't walk up for as a Scion right now. You are already behind from that kill, and you are not going to be able to trade into that minion wave by walking up directly. And if you're going for those stuns, she's going to E you right back, and she's going to win that trade with the lane state. So at least the wave is pushing back into him. At least he can collect some of that CS and get all that experience, but it is not looking great right now for the Scion. Right, and we are panning back towards this middle lane, so no deaths there yet, which is a good thing for probably both of them. You know, it can really swing either way, so the loser of that trade is going to be pretty far down, so we'll just see how this develops. They are both level 6 now, which increases that kill threat quite a bit. There's a
Ooh,
stun.
the stun is out, but okay, but Phoenix is walking off safe. Syndra can really, with that stun, can get pretty gnarly.
Yep, she's not quite in lethal range yet, so she's just going for the trades right now. Does land another Q, and now we're getting dangerous. Now we're getting to the point where, since she has that ignite up, she has that ultimate, Phoenix is again going to need to be really careful. We have some action down bot, it looks like.
Walking in. Oh yeah, we got Puppy, and ooh, Vagar is completely zoned from his teammates, and
Nothing he
Abject
can do.
God, that one, yeah. On a silver platter served up. It was tasty. And now they're thinking Drake. Good call, guys, because
Once you get a pick on that bottom lane, you want to get the objective that's on that side of the map. Great job by then.
and they're walking down to that Drake. You'll see they pop the plant ace and stuff, and they're putting in on this Morgana. That spell shield is just brutal. And then she backs out of there, and she's fine. And actually, to turn them off Drake for now. So.
And it's come to our attention, we might be echoing a little bit on stream. We're going to see if we can get that taken care of, and hopefully it's not too distracting if not.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Still getting used to this new tech setup
Yep.
in the first couple games. I know there was a little bit of delay on the last one, so hopefully at least that is gone this time.
With the kills 2v2, you'll notice that Red Side has a definitive gold lead. A lot of that can be from just farming, CS leads, things like that, especially since the first blood went over to the blue side. So that's always a really important thing.
Yep, so as we can see here, we have a huge CS lead in that top lane. We have a little bit of a CS lead in that bottom lane. The bottom lane was
Ooh.
pretty much evened out by mid, but that top lane CS difference and that kill, man, that is a matchup that is going to be very hard to recover from. Scion always going to be able to bring that CC in the later game, but still, it is going to be rough to recover.
Syndra does, yes, have that CS lead though against the Ahri, so hopefully they don't let Syndra get too big, because the Fed Syndra is not fun for anyone except for Syndra and her teammates. You saw a little while ago Kane cleaned out that pink ward. Just, you know, playing with the vision around these neutral objectives. Meanwhile, bot lane is still pushing in. Took the route for his teammate like a true support and protector.
Yep, and that is Braum's job. If he can tank it, it's way better than his ADC getting it, and he does have that shield to mitigate any damage afterwards. Right, so now we have Bubble Puppy posturing up around that Rift Herald. Not sure if he's going to start it. He does have a large top lane advantage. The top lane is backing it. Is probably something they could do, or they could look for the gank here. Let's find out what they decide.
Ooh, good dodges, okay. Ooh, and we got a gank coming in. Nice flash, Syndra.
Oh, the
And down. Very nice job, Alawi. Come just be like, hey friends, you need me? Alright, let's go do Drake. That was beautifully played on both teams' side. It was a really nice job from Syndra, but they were able to get her at last stunned and killed, and now they turn their sights to Drab.
And you can see with how much CC this jungle pick has, it's so hard for them to get out of those ganks. The flash needed to be spent early to get out of the ult range from Ahri. The charm beautifully duped by Syndra.
But Kane did not win it. It was to Sejuani. Kane's like, peace out, and leaves.
Sejuani, Bubble Puppy, clutch on these smites all game.
Nicely done, sir.
All right, so let's see where they're going to posture now, we definitely want to be looking at that Rift Herald as the next big objective, as the next Drake won't be up for a while. Right now, red team has a Scuttle Vision, so I am pushing in the wave, taking advantage of denying some of those minions.
And we have two, oh gosh, I'm blanking on the name. Shutdown Gold. There we go. We have Shutdown Gold on the red team side. So that's just something you have to keep in mind. When you start getting ahead and you start getting these kills, you become more valuable. That if you're killed, then the other people can come in. So that's something that hopefully Alawi and Lucian are, you know, keeping aware of. We're back to CSing in the top
gold
side.
And catch up experience, so it is very punishing in League of Legends if you end up getting caught after you get that lead. So it's a comeback mechanic, a rubber band mechanic to try and make the game a little bit more able to be pushed back in another team's favor if one team does happen to get the early kills or the early CS. So again, in that mid lane posturing here, so the Syndra even went for those double Doran's rings to try and get some laning power. So the 1v1 is definitely going to be very hard at this point with the gold difference with Irish. Nice try on the charm, but barely juked out. And as we are looking at the map state here, we have the Alawi still just pushing in the Scion over and over again, making it very hard for him to be able to do anything under his tower or make any roam plays with his ultimate, anything like that without being punished hard.
Ooh, this is where you want to be. If you are Phoenix, you are dead.
And two plays happening simultaneously on the map. We saw on the mini-map those flashes going off top lane for, I think, what was the solo kill from Nick the Awesome again into the Scion, and at the same time the solo kill in the mid lane. So that does still give them what they feel is enough priority to work on this Rift Herald, and they are very strong. So.
And Kane is watching this. He's wondering, can I hop in there and try to steal that? But like we said, Puppy's been doing well with this mic. It's organizations. The caster curse all the time. Looks like the Rift Herald, but can they pick it up? They pick it up. Let's see if the other team can kill. Nice double kill on both of those guys. And a stun, but makes it out safe. She's a tinky gal, you know, she eats her wheat.
As you can see, when you have an Alawi getting this strong, it is so hard to contest her in a close space like that. We have the telegraph spot that the Scion came in on the teleport, and the one thing you do not want to do more than anything else on Alawi is stay in her ultimate, which he had to with that TP. So great job recognizing that from Nick.
Did they get the Rift Herald? Did he pick it up?
I think he was able to pick it up. I did not see for sure. We'll have to look. Yep, we can see it on that Scion after the teleport. He was able to pick it up. You can see it where his guard will be.
That's a little nice thing for them, you know, they're able to steal that and get that, even at the cost of their lives. Now, I was going to say Alex, Phoenix, our mid laner, doing some good pressure on the mid turret. Kane getting his red buff.
And we want to look at how strong that Alawi is right now. We're really centering around that and talking because it is kind of their win condition. This my bot lane strong too, but that Alawi at 5-0 is kind of what both teams want to be using and worrying about.
I've been on both sides of that equation, on the side when Alawi's on my team and against my team Fed, and on both ways you gotta keep in mind. And that is Bubble Puppy in the 1v1 on Kane going down. That is not necessarily something you want to see but we have Phoenix looking mid lane, just saying, okay, everything good, and then hopping back.
Man, these Scuttle battles have been intense, just happening this whole game. And
poor Scuttle doesn't even defend itself, you know.
It's a hard life being a Scuttle Crab. And Bubble Puppy does go down again. Maybe something that he needs to be pulling back a little bit on. And so, as we see the Kane coming back onto the map, I'm assuming he's going to have his transformation pretty darn soon, and that's when you really get scared of that Kane.
Wow, that CS differential top lane is brutal. You know, the other CSs are pretty close. Definitely a lead toward the Syndra mid, but it's nothing too bad. And same with towards Kane, and a little one towards Sana. And we got back and forth. Flash nicely done, Braum.
And Braum just saved his ADC's life. That ultimate definitely would have executed Abject on that Lucian. Alright, so as we are looking at this mid-game, Kane probably with his transformation at this point is going to have a lot more gank power. I'm assuming he went the red Kane because he has the Conqueror. So he's going to have that CC when he comes into lane, the knockups to easily be able to work around the CC that's already in his lanes and also set up the ganks himself.
When do we got Mountain Drake coming? Is alive and they're thinking about it. Ooh, red team destroyed the first turret, so they got that top turret again. A really nice lead, top lead, and it's just opening the map up. Oh no!
Oh my
It's not how you want to be. If you are the Ari, that is a scary Syndra. You really got to respect for this one. The bot lane is deciding we're going to go in since this is happening. Maybe it's gone down. Morgana, the Black Shield cannot save them. Rick Carroll top bot. They had Shelly up, and then we have a Sion. It's like a middle school dance. The Sion finds himself in a tricky place, and he goes down with the ignite. You have Braum and Aloy coming in. It's a tanky Aloy, and they're taking the Rift Herald down, maybe before she gets her charge. But there's a lot of people down on blue side now, and there goes turret. Flash out, and is it for that's a huge shutdown to Cade. 850 gold. That's not what you want to see if you are the red side. And Abject just walking and out, not wanting to be part of that. Nice charm, nice charm. Oh, so close to getting the side, and Shelly has an anticlimactic death.
And just like that, we see red team's lead evaporate. The gold completely even now, and we can see that comeback mechanic coming into play. Basically, the condition for them to get this game back in their control. We have a very close call and a very... Oh my gosh, you got it! With the assist, the Drake is actually the one that finishes off the Sion, and now maybe they can get it.
Wow, what a great confidence in that comeback, and they're still thinking about the Drake, but they know that there was a huge turn. However, blue team hasn't backed yet since this turn, so they haven't spent that gold that they just got. So red team's in a pretty decent place for this, but again, they don't want to throw too much pain coming in. It's going to be close to the blue team, and we have the fucking ensuing shutdown, allowing to you my death, and I'm gonna kill you. Lucian is saying things. There's so much going on to go.
All right, so we had a very complicated team fight right there. It's easy to get tongue-tied with how much is going on because we had kind of the team split up into two different sections, and we had a lot of cooldowns down as well, so for both teams, they were really hesitant to pull the trigger, understandably so, but in the end, the red team is able to pull it back. They were not able to secure the Drake, but they are able to pull themselves back into a 2k gold lead, which is going to increase to a 2.5k gold lead as they get this tower.
Whew, that was a lot. But now they are spreading out through the enemy jungle, taking things as they go, while they know that some people had to respawn and go back via the fountain. And we have Alawi saying, "This is my top lane. What you thinking, boy?" And sending that Sion running the other way.
Yep, and the Sion.
It's in the blue jungle, and the Phoenix on a killing spree, but a good collapse from the blue side. Red side may not want this anymore. You have the spell shield down from Morgana around the Sion, but still a good chunk of health taken from him. And now they're posturing, doing a little vision dance, clearing out those wards with Sweeper. Nice root, but then nice pull. Yalawi's maybe not who you wanted on, but she's tanky, but she's going down, and she went down faster than I thought because that Syndra, the damage has been creeping up while she's been getting this CS and kill lead.
Yep, the Syndra, the Veigar, they were all able to poke her down. She was trapped in that cage, and when you're trapped in that cage for that long, it's so easy to hit those skill shots, so...
You've heard of cage-free eggs? We need a cage-free Alawi.
We do. We need a cage-free Alawi in these fights, have a nice and organic fight for the red team. So I think that it's really just the posturing around these team fights that is important in their outcome, right? How the cooldowns go down and how they are played around. That's what these teams both really need to look to capitalize on. When does the Sion come out? When does the Veigar cage come back up? When is the Bramble appeal mechanism you have? When is the Sedgel something you use for picks? All of this stuff.
This looks like the mid turret's gonna stick through this. Yeah, people just backing, resetting with their gold, checking around vision around Baron. I agree. Mao, I agree. We have some side commentary from the kitty section.
Yep, the kitty section always knows what's good. Pet me is,
she
I
says,
think,
why
the
is there no
one.
Nidalee in this game?
Right, of course. You want the cat champions. No Yumi, no Nidalee, but that is all right. Maybe next time.
All right, Lawi defending this top turret, getting the CS down.
And Baron is the big objective on the map right now, so that's where we're going to see a lot of the posturing, especially until that next Drake comes up. Even the second Drake, not something that's going to be of huge importance in comparison to that Baron, so we'll see where the teams decide to set up when.
And you can see that Banshee's Veil was just purchased by somebody.
Yep, so the Syndra did get that Banshee's Veil. It's going to make it pretty difficult to get a pick on her. That's why she's doing it. She's protecting that lead that she has. She knows that she's kind of in the win condition in these fights, the way that she's been dancing around, so if she is
Morgana, CS lead too now, starting to build and build.
Exactly, and we do still have that massive CS in the top lane, which is a lot of this gold, but if the Alawi can't do anything in these fights, it's not leading into anything, and that's the big thing we need to watch for in this posturing.
You'll see they're pinging out some turrets and things like that, just trying to keep their eye on the various parts of the map, but not get caught out there. You see Phoenix backing off a bit. He does not want to lose one of his 9 tails.
Yep, so we get into what a lot of people lovingly call the lull state when we get to the mid-game. So it's when there's no objectives other than Baron on the map and neither team is ahead enough to really force that Baron, it's kind of difficult to find these picks.
And that's LOL, L-U-L-L, not L-O-L, like LOL,
not
League of Legends
state. The entire game is a League of Legends state. League of Legends. And
ooh, red team turret destroyed. Mid, and we knew it was going to go down some point, but there's some
here's
action bot lane. So Kane is coming in there. Nice flash out from Abject. All right, Braum feeling a little spicy. Did not want to get caught out there and then leave his ADC to die. So bot lane, they got a couple flashes out there. We'll see if they can capitalize on those later. Meanwhile, they're looking for this Drake.
Those flashes might be capitalized on right now because we do have a fight.
Oh, it's brilliantly done. Phoenix, that was well deserved on the Syndra, showing huge. Everyone's running up, and my team is taking advantage of the down, but he comes back to life to just try to do damage before he dies. And the spell shield cannot save Morgana in the blue team fight for blue side. Red team getting it out. Yeah, I'd like to see the support getting that final ace. You did your part, Braum. You deserved that kill. And they turn their sights to Drag.
And that is a game-changing fight for the red team. You have to respect Nick the Awesome's play in that fight. The way that he used the blast cone to blast over the wall and get on the back line. When the Alawi is on the back line, that's exactly what you want to see. Not blocked by the cage, not blocked by the terrain. Used it perfectly to get that fight back in their favor.
I was gonna try to make like a terrifying terrain joke, but it wasn't gonna work.
It's okay.
Well.
It's okay. We'll get him next time.
We'll get him next time. All right, but this bot lane's gonna get this turret this time. They are knocking it down.
If they are going to easily be able to get this before they reset, good for them for not sticking around for that wave. It would have been risky. They've just gotten a lot of gold that they want to spend up. So the blue team, again, licking their wounds, kind of getting back on the map, making sure that they can at least not give up this Baron after that fight.
And you'll see the vision isn't quite what we've seen in some other games, but they're doing a good job playing around the ones that they have on the JV side. Obviously, I don't know about Wisconsin's vision game, but they're doing a nice job playing around. But right now, the Baron pit is pretty dark.
Yep, neither team really having that vision control there, and they should definitely be looking around that scuttle for the permanent vision that can't be cleared, and also just getting some wards to make sure that no team is sneaking it. Something that you always want to do as a team. So you see that Syndra and Veigar are moving in together. You cannot just, if they are not a tanky support like that, Braum, you cannot just send them in alone. It's very dangerous. So they do secure that scuttle.
We have another Infernal Drake hopping out in about 3 minutes. You'll see just good team communication on the red side, letting them know, you know, hey, I have my ult, hey, I have this, hey, I have that. Top lane, he has his soul bubble puppy coming up, and Zion's like, see ya! Runs away. I would not blame him. I would do that too.
Yep, ult burst for free, so that is one of the engage mechanisms gone. Definitely something you want to see the red team burning from the blue team as these Baron posturings are approaching, so Syndra looking maybe.
Something just really, we got a maybe possible collapse. That full shield is brutal. Something that's kind of interesting, you look and you see kills aren't everything. You look 11 to 20, but the gold difference is not that huge between the two teams. So, you know, keeping in mind those things, there's a lot of different variables that you have to take into account with the league to know how your team's doing.
Yep, part of that's that shutdown gold, part of that is that CS differential that is growing in the mid and the bot lane, evening out that top lane. And looks like we are setting up maybe around that potential Drake coming up in a bit here. Not quite up yet, but they're at least looking perfect.
Oh, looking in, just slow on them, but oh, nice. On the Vanguard side. We got Nick the Awesome running a huge charge. He has killed our Vanguard, double kill, and going down. He'll come back, but he is gone. Hopefully he doesn't take anyone with him. He's been exhausted because you just don't want to do that damage. Why not? And that was a really nice setup on the side of the red team. They're a little bit lower maybe than they'd like to be, but.
And again, the way Nick the Awesome is playing these fights is fantastic. You have to respect the fact that he saw the cage, he saw how he was taken out of the fights earlier, but let's see what's happening now.
Oh, and yeah, good knockoff on to the red side to defend this turret, and it looks like it'll be enough to dissuade them, but bot lane, Abject got that bot turret while everyone else was shuffling around mid.
Yep, and just finishing that point from earlier, he was able to flash over that cage to make them think he was safe, but not anymore, and he's
you do not want to back on that, Ward. Oh yeah, I guess you'll have to go back to the fountain some other time.
Yep, the blue team will allow it as we pull those jokes back in. So we have Lucian now also. We can't ignore the fact that he is now 6-1 and 9, and he just got that infinity edge. So when you're that Lucian and when you get that 2-item power spike when you're building these expensive crit items, you are very, very strong. So that's a great time for that to be happening as this Drake is coming up now.
And blue side getting some vision on the Baron. Gotta respect that. It's just good, like, especially when you get a team that's getting ahead of you during this time. You don't want to not know what's going on in that pit.
Yep.
You want to keep your eye on it.
It looks like they might not even go for a hard contest here on this Drake with the way they're posturing. They're pushing in now, but let's see what they do. Just checking the brushes since they don't have the vision there.
Having the vision planned. Lots of good pings, and they see them, but they're just waiting for this Drake to spawn. They want it.
Yep, and Alawi does have that teleport if she needs it. She's starting to roam down now just to make sure she's with the team either way, so...
Getting some camps. Yeah, I agree. Wow. Oh, and there comes that Drake. The red team's pretty far away for this, but they're collapsing now. Blue team is thinking about it, but I don't know if they want to contest in this 5v5 without Alawi. She's huge. Oh, she threw it down. She's stunned, and then into another stun, but they didn't really follow up on it, so she's walking out like, is that all you got? I'm gonna walk over here then. And clear out some vision there. Again, the dance of vision.
Dance of vision and the dance of whether or not this Drake is being started. They're looking pretty
good. It's pretty swift, and the jungle is caught. That's not where you want to be. Luckily, she's tanky. Pretty far away. Someone all definitely Zonia's up on Morgana there, sorry. Lots of things happening, but just focusing from the blue side. So red team's able to do it, but they're also playing very carefully because they know they don't want to get caught out with this. Nick the Awesome pretty low, but able to get through it. Bubble Puppy chasing down the Kane and getting that kill, which is nice considering Drake's a root hit from onto our Phoenix, which might be that's pretty. Yep, Syndra cleans that up.
Syndra cleans that up. Alawi does have the teleport here, so they might look for the play.
There is the teleport, exactly. You called that. And they want this Drake. Sweet initiation. Bubble Puppy gets that. And now with the Alawi here, I don't think blue team wants this anymore.
With the Alawi here, and Kane was the one that got picked earlier in this fight, so it looks like they're safe to start it up.
They're just playing carefully because Abject is pretty darn low. Syndra's looking here. She sees it. She wants it. It'll come down to guts and damage. And the team has the guts and the damage.
Let's see. They have the damage, and they have the third Drake. Oh,
Syndra says, I got guts and damage too. Let me show ya.
Yeah, she has a lot of damage and a lot of guts to go for that play, but it is huge to get that kill back. You have to see those windows on a champion like Syndra, and she took it. So that is very important, though, for the red team's pressure in this game. They have that third Drake, and they are threatening that Infernal Soul that will be coming up in a few minutes here. So definitely something they can use to pressure the map, pressure the Baron. So let's see if they go up there to set up that vision now.
Hey, what is the dragon's favorite solfege?
I would guess Soul.
Yeah! Alright, and Kane has a little early smite on that Scuttle, but that's okay. He secured that. Again, it's always good to have vision around Baron at this point in the game. Cleaning out some of these CS, pushing out the lanes. Careful there, they
back,
see you.
And we also see the 3-item spike coming in on the Alawi now with that Death Stance completed. That is to the 1 and just about 2/3 of an item that's on the Scion, so a huge lead still in that top lane. But we also see how scary this Syndra is. She just picked up the Void Staff, so she is going to be doing some extra magic damage to that front line with the magic penetration, and that is the thing that she's really had difficulty working through, so that's going to be huge. We also have the Zeal coming through for the Lucian getting the extra crit to work with the Infinity Edge.
On the red side?
On the red side, we have the Alawi getting tanky just by virtue of the fact that she's Alawi heals for so much, and the Death Stance gives her some of those extra stats and healing, but the Sejuani, definitely the Sejuani in particular, is very, very tanky. The Braum as well is always going to be much tankier when he has the shield on him, but when he does have that shield down, he's much easier to blow up, even though he has that Abyssal Mask.
And again, we know it might be getting a little weird during the team fights, just with the stream lineup, and so we apologize about that. You know, just trying our best with the technology we have. It's because the fights are so exciting. The universe can't contain it.
Yeah, the microphone is so scared of what's going to happen at the end of the fight, it freaks out.
And we're back into a lull stage, clearing out vision, posturing around Baron, pushing in these waves. And you'll see again, Gold League has been neck and neck all game, but you feel like the red team has had a pretty definitive grasp of the map throughout this, you know, taking camps and taking down turrets. So, oh, and they're starting up the Baron. They're like, well, if everyone's just gonna twiddle their thumbs, we're gonna, you know, attack this big purple worm. Oh, nice stun.
Watch for the steal.
Scion all down, Rom all down, and oh, Scion has killed Phoenix, and this is not going well on the side of red team. Oh my gosh, blue team is just obliterating them, and they're gonna triple kill for the Scion. 700 gold shut down for that Kane. Ace, and this is not what Hilliard wanted to see. Not what I wanted to see as one of the Hilliard coaches. And I totally understand blue team headed to Baron, and I would too if I were them. You know, just like that, the gold shifts in the favor of the blue team. Again, not too much so yet, but we'll see what they do with this Baron buff.
Now, only the Syndra falling on the blue side, and that is going to be very hard for the red team to deal with. They're pinging that soul. They're saying, even though we lost this Baron, maybe we can win a better posture team fight and get that huge permanent buff of the Infernal Soul.
So what happened that they just got completely obliterated? What was so different about this team fight versus the others?
They were locked in that close space of the Baron pit. So if you look at the way the other fights have been postured around, it's completely different. It's completely it's completely closed space that they can't retreat from and kite back to. And when you have something like the Vague Arcade, when you have that much zone control, it's very, very difficult to play around. And
now that damage coming out from that Syndra is starting to really stack up. I mean, that's not something that you can take for granted. You have to be very careful of that, especially with the Vigar being able to zone you and with the Morgana. So now they're doing vision around this soul that is coming up, like Aria Davis said, and you know, just trying to look forward to the next fight. Again, the gold has now swung definitively in the blue team side, but this game's not over yet.
No, this game is definitely not over. We've seen how much it's swung back and forth already, and it can swing again. So this soul is probably going to be that swing play. If the red team gets it, then it's huge. If the blue team gets it, they get that denial. So they are waiting on some vision here that they don't know on the blue side. So we'll see if they go for this pick on Syndra.
What would happen if both teams just wait forever and brushes?
Then the minions would eventually win the game for one side.
Oh, snap, and they just give it up? I don't know. They just, say, okay, well, they were waiting maybe a little bit too long there and just gave up that drag. So they have to be careful. The The Infernal Soul would be a really good way for them to come back into this game. Careful, guys! You got this! Keep your heads about you!
And it is really, really difficult to know exactly what the game state is when you're in the game. We get this nice gold graph and everything to see that they really aren't that far behind, but from their side, they're thinking, we just lost the Baron, we just lost all this pressure, and maybe they're getting a little bit nervous about those contests now that they lost that team fight.
So just pushing out those waves, trying to reset a little bit, spend up the golds they have. You'll see now there are some shutdown gold on the blue team side, which that's all they need. They get a pick, get it like that, and you know, we're straight back into the momentum swing.
Yep, and early on those shutdowns are very important in terms of experiencing gold at this point in the game. Oh, they might be looking for a pick.
Braum is like, oh, and they got the flash shield. That's really nice. Spell shield also down. Wow, that damage. Holy moly. We have the calling out from Lucian. That was on combat. They won so quickly. Oh my goodness, Vagar just got a triple kill. That is heart-wrenching. She was a breath away from death, and Vagar defended her honor and got a triple kill bot lane. That is just so demoralizing for the red side.
Man, and when you have a Vagar at this point in the game, even though he's the support, he can blow up a carry, and he did just that. I see what he was going for in that Lucian, but the counterattack was just too much.
Game of inches, and I get it. You know, before this started, we were telling them careful about over following, but that wasn't really an over follow. But oh, that's just, you just don't want to see that. And now they're knocking on the door of the base, pushing in on both mid and bot turrets. Red team wondering, oh, okay, we got the stun out from Sejuani. Can they get this catch out? That would be nice. Oh, that was a beautiful flash. Okay, they're still taking a lot of people, a lot of time getting turned into really tanky at some point. Shutdown, that's a huge shutdown. That's what we wanted to see right there. And good. Let's see if Sedge can capitalize on that later. They were able to save that bot turret. So it took a lot, but it feels good.
Feels good to stay in this game, because if they had broken that inhib, if they had broken the base in another lane, it would be so much harder to hold off later on. So definitely a huge re-shifting of the momentum to get that Kayn shutdown.
And even with that shutdown, now the gold is definitely taking a big turn to the blue side. You know, that Baron buff just can get, and with all those turrets they took, and then that triple kill for Vagar, I mean, really swung it in that way, not swang. That would be like if Kayn was swinging.
Hey, but it may be swaying again when this Infernal Drake comes up, and something we might really want to see on that red side is an Executioner's calling on that Lucian, because this Kayn healing is ridiculous at this point. So, and if you're going to be trying to take him down in those scenarios, he has that death stance, he has that natural healing from his red form. And it looks like the Infernal Drake might be the play. They might just have to say, guys, we're bleeding, we need to go for this fight.
We need to cauterize our wound with some Infernal Drags.
Exactly. Yeah,
that abject almost went down trying to kill that Kayn, and that was like a 3 or 4v1, you know. So here, you really want to be able to do damage against those guys. It feels bad when you're throwing everything you got at them, and you can barely see that health bar ticking down.
And we do see the blue team playing the map well. They have the teleport on that side. We do not have a teleport on our Ahri up there. So splitting the map in this way, they might be sending a Lowy up there right now to match teleports, because they're going to need to get control of this Infernal Drake area soon, as it is coming up in just 1 minute.
Yeah, and you'll see now that the map is broken open more, there's a bit more vision that they're spreading out, and blue team has done well taking the vision. Oh, they're going. Let's see, we slowly pan up top, and they're trying to get this kick out on this Scion. Can they do it? Yes, they can. And now they need to be careful, because they don't want to be caught out on the complete other side of the map when it's time for the drag to spawn. So you see they're running there, It's a kind of a slow motion run, it seems like at this point. Can they get there in time?
It's a slow motion run, but the thing the blue team needs to watch out for is they could just go to Baron right now.
Oh.
Infernal Drake is coming up. Baron is up before it. If they wanted to, they could draw them over to that side of the map. Be careful of the stuns, though.
Oh, yeah, be careful of the stuns. In the roots, in the stuns, all these things. You gotta be careful. That flash out from Syndra. Okay.
They flash down.
And everyone's kind of playing chicken there, being like, you go, no, you go. But there's some flashes down, and that's huge.
And we have the Banshees now on the Ahri, so she's not nearly as vulnerable as she was. It gets popped there, but they are looking around this to posture for the Drake.
Ooh, enemy Sedge going in, everyone defending the honor. I don't know if they want to that too much. Remember, guys, don't overextend, don't overextend, don't overextend. Careful. Remember objectives.
Looks like they're turning back to the Drake.
Distract the objective. Sejuani was a bait.
And that is huge. They have cauterized that wound, no
Nice.
matter how intense the cauterization an Infernal Dragon might be. And they were looking for the re-engage with the teleport from Sion, but that's just the TP down for nothing. And now it looks like both teams are pinging that Baron. They know that's the next big thing on the map.
And look, now our gold lead is still in the blue side's favor, but that Infernal Drake will be huge for team fights later on, which is you only need one really good team fight at this point. Sion ulting for dramatic. They're going for this. Blue team. Does red team know? Do they even know? This
Even
is
if
no.
they know, they don't have time to contest it.
This is
Blue
no good
team,
enough.
heads up play, just going for the Baron immediately.
Guys.
We are 40 minutes into this game, and at that point, the Baron gets torn through. So
Wow.
definitely
Guys.
something you need to watch out for when you're resetting after an objective. What else is on the map?
And this is, remember, we said, and we've been saying throughout this game, keeping vision on these big objectives. You need to have vision. So warding wins games. I say it every time. It needs to get on a t-shirt, because not having vision in that Baron pit to see that they were doing that means Baron goes easily hands over to the blue side, and that gold lead continues now to jump back in the blue side. So again, red team not counted out. They still have Infernal Soul. But that is a huge objective going the blue side's way.
Yep, a huge objective. Now we have to see if with that Infernal Drake they can pull off the team fight to stop that Baron siege. They're going to need to look for it, because with the Baron buff, it's going to make it pretty easy for them to push into space.
Yep.
So again, setting up that vision, making sure that your flanks are warded for both sides. On the red side to look for the pick when they push up, for the blue side to guard against that.
Go hit it. There's a ward right there. Go hit it.
Well,
Okay.
it's pretty dangerous because they don't know what's going on in there, so...
That's true.
They
It'd be
wanna-
so much easier if we could just take away the we have the energy and shit down. Gonya's down on the boost. They're too far extended. What could he do? His team has to leave him there. And this is not what you want to see red side, as the turret is already down mid lane and they are knocking on the door. They want this inhib. They have that Baron push. They breathed on it and it fell. Are they looking to end here? No, they're
They
looking
might be
towards
a
top
for the pick.
and taking that top turret down. And huge, trying to deter them from this. The turret's destroyed, but what can they get? Sion ulting out of this, not wanting it. Nick the Awesome being huge and tanky, wanting to defend his homeland. And charms Sion, but Sion's pretty tanky himself at this point, so not too much damage there. They try to clear out these Baron-empowered minions. And that's not what you want to see. Not what you want to see. Inhib going down, and two more red members going down. This looks like the game.
Inhib going down and the two carries down. The blue team is going to be able to end it here.
Guys, it's the kill field. Oh, it's not over till it's over. And it might be over very, very soon, but this was an awesome game, and I'm so proud of Hilliard. They really put up a fight. This just shows a Baron here, a team fight there, and that is all she wrote.
Yep, Hilliard with the amazing job trying to work their way back into this game after that first Baron buff. There were some fantastic plays all around, and we are always proud of them for the work they put in.
Yeah, and especially in League, there's this ranking system, and a lot of the players on this Wisconsin team were ranked higher than some of the players on our team, and so they did a really nice job going toe-to-toe with them throughout this game. It wasn't until the very end that they got the definitive gold lead. So nice job, guys. Proud of you. And yeah, that's it from Mrs. Sturman, aka Maestro Pants.
Yep.
And
I totally agree. That's it from Peter Sturman Wilson, aka Arya Deva, and we hope you guys enjoyed this cast. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We will do our best to get that sorted out before the next stream, and we will see you next time.
yep.